This is what happens when you throw Dave Smith and Officer Tatum in the same room. Sparks, moral contradictions, and more Hasbro talking points than a State Department press release. Let's get into it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think Brent kind of almost hit every single talking point there. So I don't know. I mean, I've been knocking all these down for years on your show here. The bottom line is just that it is just, look, to sit here and say that even as you say, obviously, Piers, it's not like Hamas had to be rocket scientists to figure this out.
Exactly. Terrorism isn't about winning battles. It's about tricking idiots in suits into bankrupting themselves. And guess what? Washington fell for it hook, line, and sinker twice.
This is what terrorism is. It's asymmetrical warfare. The action is in the reaction. Osama bin Laden didn't think he could take down the United States of America by taking out our towers. He thought he could lure us into a war in Afghanistan and that might bankrupt us. It was the plan that our CIA coached him through in the late 70s and early 80s with luring the Soviets into Afghanistan. And so the idea that, and look, we did it. We blew $8 trillion in the Middle East since then. And so that's the idea here. And Israel's completely fallen into the trap. But of course, the reason why that Israel has done irreversible reputational damage, the reason why people are supporting this is really just twofold.
Not in America's interest. The understatement of the century. Our leaders treat U.S. foreign policy like a casino, except the House always loses.
Number one, it's clearly not in America's interest. And number two, this is just indefensible. Even if you say that, hey, look, Hamas goes down into the bomb shelters and leaves the civilians up there to be bombed. Okay, but then ain't there a moral question about whether it's the right thing to do to just drop those bombs on the civilians when you know the terrorists are down in the towers? Hold on, you had a chance to go through all this stuff. So
I know, but I want you to. Can I just propose?
You just went off on every talking point,
and I'll shut up. No, just explain that
okay,
too.
But I'm just going to finish.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to finish what I did. Well, what they should do is embrace a two-state solution. Ultimately, they should stop occupying a people as they've been doing
it 5 times, and the Arabs rejected it.
No, they haven't. Now
5 times, and the Arabs rejected it.
Yeah, I get it. I know you're going to hit every Hasbro talking point. That's not true.
There's been
lots of books. No, it's not. It's a talking point. It is not true. The Palestinians have never once been offered a full-fledged state. There is not one of those 5 times that they were ever offered a full state. Even, by the way, that's not even your own Hasbro talking point. You're supposed to say 97% of what they wanted, which also is a lie. The point is that it doesn't, no matter what you're going to say here, Israel propped up Hamas for years to keep them in power so that Netanyahu could thwart the creation of a Palestinian state, to then use them as a justification for mass slaughtering a captive people that you have kept stateless for 60 years is morally indefensible. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had to actually paint the full thing out. When I was talking about the pro-life analogy, yes.
Oh, the pro-life paradox. Babies matter until they're inconvenient. And then suddenly we're back to collateral damage. That's not morality. That's marketing.
Being pro-life is about believing that life begins at conception, but baked in there is also the assumption that you think it's wrong to murder kids. Like the point is that yes, if you're pro-life, then you also
murder kids.
Yes, but you're supporting a policy that is doing just that.
There's no policy to murder kids. It's urban warfare. Unfortunately, people die. There's no show me the policy that says you should murder kids in this.
Leaflets? Really? Sorry we bombed your apartment. But hey, at least we called first. That's not morality. That's customer service.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, that is. Look, when you make a decision to drop a bomb on a building where you know there are children inside of it, yes, morally speaking, you murdered those children.
Phone calls. You told them
so
to
the leaflets
evacuate.
Make it not murder. Okay. So how about when they don't?
There's no
How about this last attack?
There's no intent to murder them.
Wait, let me ask you a question. Follow up. How about when they don't? What about when they don't drop leaflets? What about when they don't have evacuation orders? They just did this in Gaza City yesterday. How about that? Is that now murder?
Well,
I just took away your excuses.
No. I could give you an example. They don't have to drop leaflets and give phone calls if they're
operating. So then why are you bringing that up?
I'm saying when you're shooting weapons and Hamas is firing weapons and using it as a military base, they don't have to give leaflets to give evacuation. It's that if it's a civilian building or something where they can eliminate having casualties, they will do that to the best of their ability. But there's some instances where they can't give notification because Hamas is operating out of these hospitals, operating out of mosques, and they have to do what they have to do in this warfare.
They have to. No, they don't. They actually don't have to.
What should they do then? What should they do?
By the way, I love
what
Piers.
Should they do?
I love I love Piers. I think it was Aaron Matei who coined this phrase. I could be wrong about that, but someone said the entire Israeli case rests on you saying that nothing justifies October 7th, but October 7th justifies anything. Like nothing. You're sitting here. Yes. Look, you can pick one side or the other. One second. You can pick one side. I'll answer that question, but just interrupting my point with that question over and over again is just so I can't make my case. There is no, you can go tit for tat here. There's been terrorism on both sides. Israel has been occupying Gaza and the West Bank / controlling Gaza and the West Bank since 1967. There's going to be resistance to that. And then for you to say that resistance now justifies us slaughtering people by the tens of thousands, destroying all of Gaza is just, there's no logic in it. There's no morality in it. What should Israel have done? Number one, Benjamin Netanyahu should have resigned on October 8th. After his plan to prop up Hamas, being this genius right-winger that I'm going to keep Hamas in power because, in his words, he could control the height of the flame and this will balance things and thwart a Palestinian state. When that blew up in his face, he should have resigned in disgrace that day. They should have had a real investigation about what actually happened on October 7th. Our late friend had some questions about that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
They should have really looked into that, which we've never gotten to the bottom of. And then they should have done surgical strikes, targeted assassinations, as Israel has always done throughout their entire history with the terrorism problem. They have never, until Netanyahu, treated it as a problem for the regular old army, and it should have culminated in a real peace process. They should have said, we are going to take out the people responsible for this by targeted strikes, and at the end of that, we're ending the occupation. We're giving all of East Jerusalem, all of the West Bank, and all of Gaza to the Arabs. It's their decision what they want to do in the future, but if we are attacked, we will treat them as a foreign nation and go to war with them.
And there it is, Dave Smith dropping reality checks, Tatum running defense, and the audience stuck in the middle wondering who actually cares about logic over loyalty. Drop your take in the comments. Was Dave dead on, or was Tatum making sense here? Smash like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.